The quickest way to move in spirituality and to get to the direction that you're wanting to go in is in surrender. It's not by trying to change anything or condemn it or judge it or make it different than it was. You're not picking the wrong feeling. You don't have to feel differently than you did. You just have to know yourself. You have to get inside there and know, okay, this is the spot I was in. This is why I picked that, why I felt that way. Hi, Trey. I'm Robin Jelinek, and I'm on Your Superior Self.
Robin, part 2. Thank you so much for taking the time. I can't wait to have this conversation with you.
Thank you, Trey. I'm happy to be here.
And for those that are tuning in and watching or listening, Robin and I had a very impactful, extraordinary conversation prior to this. So go back and I'll set it. I guess I will, since I'm a great host, set the link in the description and you guys can check it out there. Robin, what have you been up to since we last spoke?
Well, I have been up to doing chakra clearing and Kundalini activation sessions. I've been very busy with that. It's something that started to reveal itself to me in my experience with other clients in their 1-hour sessions. And I quickly found that I couldn't get through all the energy centers in an hour. So an hour and a half seems to be just the right amount of time. I'm having great success with that. The people love them. They're having great experiences, feel very uplifted, feel like their passion for life comes back. You don't really get old. It's basically that stuff starts to build up in the energy centers that prevent you from getting the full flow of the divine into yourself, which is actually your life force. It's what makes you feel excited. It's what makes you be in your passion, enjoy life. And so once we work with, or the group works with the client, they get a quick understanding that they haven't lived their life wrong, that basically there's streams of consciousness that you are picking from based upon what you're feeling in your experience. And no one can tell you how to feel, nor should they, and nobody does it wrong. So if a human is living their life and something happens and they feel betrayed or they feel angry or full of rage, certainly they wouldn't pick the feeling of happiness in that moment. They would go with the negative emotion as they've deemed it. But what they're really doing is picking an appropriate emotion as a signal, and they're using that signal to send to the universe, which is the divine counterpart of them, to let them know, this is how I'm feeling right now in my experience. And when the universe receives that and the divine part of you receives it, there's expansion. It knows something that it didn't know before, so it becomes bigger, and it actually culminates experiences that are of a high vibration, because that is the vibration of the universe. And so it makes very positive, wonderful feeling things for you out of what might not feel so wonderful to you. So what my work is with humans is making them understand that they haven't done it wrong. Some of them think that they have to suck up a bad feeling or a negative thought or do it over, and that's not really what you have to do. You have to really surrender to it. And with the assistance of the group, I'm able to make them understand that many of the emotions that they have felt, that they have released in negativity, they had long before the experience ever occurred. So they already were holding this within them. And so they start to understand, oh, this is how I create. I live my life. Maybe I lived in a home where I became angry or I wasn't well taken care of, and I developed this way of being, these emotions that I felt. I picked from the stream of consciousness a signal and sent that out in the way that I felt. But the problem is they move to condemnation and judgment. They think now, as a spiritual person, they shouldn't feel bad, they shouldn't think bad things, and they should love everybody and let go of everything, forgive everything. And my group doesn't really get into that. They say when people are forgivable, normally that happens naturally. It's because they've changed and you know that they can't violate you any further. Sometimes it can get kind of sappy, and I would say my group isn't sappy. But the idea of forgiveness for everyone, sometimes you just have to meet yourself where you are. Maybe you're not ready really to move to that point. And so it's really about honorment. It's about trusting yourself, loving yourself in your experience. The quickest way to move in spirituality and to get to the direction that you're wanting to go in is in surrender. It's not by trying to change anything or condemn it or judge it or make it different than it was. You're not picking the wrong feeling. You don't have to feel differently than you did. You just have to know yourself. You have to get inside there and know, okay, this is the spot I was in. This is why I picked that, why I felt that way. Anybody probably would have picked that emotion if they had been living your experience. And when you do that, this is self-love. And so you start to feel this love for yourself, this gratitude, acceptance of what it is that you experienced and released to the universe. And then you come into this very nice place of alignment. In alignment, the negativity has been lifted, and the human feels received in its experience, and it quickly releases the feeling or the emotion that it was hanging on to that was causing a mirror back of experiences that perhaps they didn't like. Once that entrapment is released, the human goes on to experience more and more things. And eventually we train them into picking the preference. What's born by the experience? What do you really want when you don't feel a certain way? And as they become the master of their experience and they're able to guide themselves more and more towards the preference, they actually start creating in happiness and joy. And this is what fifth dimensional living is. Most humans come into the plane in the first three energy centers. There's lack, there's deprivation, there's shortage, there's not enoughness, there's anger, worry. All of these emotions are part of the human experience in the third dimensional reality, living in the first lower three energy centers of survival. And this is not a low level consciousness. This is just where the evolution of that soul is. And so after you're there for a while and you suffered to create your experience, you're still making good stuff. The universe is still happy with you. You're worthy. You're growing. Everything's working fine. But you as a human maybe don't feel so well as you're doing it because you're hanging on to negativity and you're re-experiencing the same things over and over again in your experience. That's not very satisfying. But once you really get the hang of this and you understand, now I'm going to move into fourth dimensional reality. What is that? I'm moving into the heart center. I'm starting to recognize I am the creator of my experience. I know by how I'm thinking and how I'm feeling, I can put the connection together. I'm starting to see what I'm getting here. And then the very next thing that happens is I start looking out at everybody else and telling them what they're doing wrong. I start judging. I start condemning myself. I start doing something that I think that isn't spiritual, that I shouldn't be doing. And I condemn, I judge, I do it to other people. I try to force my opinions, my beliefs, perceptions onto other people. This is all perfectly normal and to be allowed. That's fourth dimension. That's just coming out of the third dimensional reality. And then after you're there for a while and you're still suffering a little bit and you've kind of had yourself full of it, you decide that you're going to move up a little bit and you move to the fifth dimension of reality. And this is the perception of I create my own experience. I love myself for creating my own experience. I no longer judge myself or others or condemn. I don't need to change what I thought or felt. I can simply know myself. I can simply know why it is that I picked the emotion that I did, why I was stuck in it, why I felt the way that I do. And I also go to the preference. And I realized there was a creation made in the moment that I felt that way. I don't need to effort my experience. I don't need to go and look for connections. I don't need to change myself as a human. And in fact, you can't do that. The human is an experiential tool. It's not capable of changing itself. It cannot change the way that it felt based upon its lineage, its past life, and its present experience it's in. All you can do is surrender to it and love it for what it has felt. When you really understand how that tool works, then you can direct the tool towards the preference. What's born of what you didn't like? And then you can start, how can you feel that way? What is it that I could do to align myself as closely to what was created in the divine part of me by what I suffered through? And then the universe receives you now in a new way. It receives you in a preference seeker. And it thinks, wow, because it's mirroring everything. And so it receives you in this new idea that you want to create from joy and happiness instead of suffering. And it actually assists you. So it starts to help you and you start to transform in ways that you yourself as a human never thought possible. There's no efforting. There's no making the experiences happening. And you're feeling better and better as you follow the preference. And this is going to speed the manifestation, by the way, which is very satisfying to a human. A human came here to create. They came here to get the good stuff. It's why they're here. And so as you create and you show yourself you are the creator, and the universe responds to you by you directing yourself towards the preference, towards where it is holding you, it's forever trying to meet you. It will start to flow those experiences into you. And as you receive them, you get very satisfied, very happy. And this circle of creation and happiness and joy starts to evolve. And you no longer create in the three lower energy centers. So that's where you go between 3D and 5D.
Wow. That was a mouthful. How much of that was Athena and how much of that was Robin?
That was Robin, connected to the divine part of her. I have two
Oh,
things going on here now. So my Kundalini is fully activated and has met the crown. What that means is the divine feminine energy that was activated many years ago made its way through my entire energetic field and met the Shiva energy, which is the male energy at the crown. When that occurs, there's a unification, and that is the soul aspect of myself, of me. When I'm in that state, if I sit in that state, it's a very blissful, ecstatic, ecstatic place. You would almost not want to live your human experience. It feels that good. There's this aha feeling that this is who I really am. This is me in my divinity form. And so that is the gift of a Kundalini that is fully activated and reaches the crown. It took me 25 years, by the way, to have that happen. It doesn't take that long for everyone because especially in the work that I'm doing, I know how to guide people through things that I got stuck in and remove things prior to the rising that also assist. But actually what happens then is the flow that you're hearing right now that's coming through Robin, that isn't the group, has the same fluidity of the group because I have access to that divinity or that flow of the universe.
So that's divinity. I mean, or because I'm kind of like, because you keep using words like human, right? And humans are
Yeah,
here, you are here, humans are here for this.
yeah.
And so you're able to tap into the energy, that divine energy from
The
your.
divine part of myself, the higher
Mm,
aspect of Robin, the soul part, soul aspect of me. So
and-
it's similar, but when I channel the group, here's the difference. When I channel the group, I don't feel anything. I don't feel blissful. I don't feel not positive. I pretty much feel nothing. I'm just removed, and they take over with a very fluid delivery. But when I'm channeling, like when I'm speaking to you as Robin, and I'm combining with the divine aspect of me through the connection, through the Kundalini energy, I get this very elated, high, fluid, good
mhm.
feeling. And so I asked the group, why am I not getting this with you? And they said, well, that's yours and ours is ours. That's how it goes. And so everybody has this. Everybody has this potential, this ability to release their Kundalini and then unite the soul aspect or purpose or passion of what it is that you really wanted to create in your human form.
Sure. Now, your process to ignite that Kundalini awakening, is it the same one that you use over 25 years, or have you developed something that is quicker than that?
I've developed something that's quicker than that. I would say I was very green. I didn't know what I was doing. I was in my early 20s. I was already on a spiritual path, reading a ton of books. I just loved the topic. Then I was, of course, busy in our business and raising my kids during those times. And in my early 40s, I had read a couple of books and I became very entranced with chakras and energy centers. And something in me felt like that really was a key to spirituality and to what I was looking for. And so I did some focused breathing and intention on those centers. And I'll say I never really know for sure if that's what caused the rise or if it's a timing thing in the soul aspect of you or in your life. I'm really not sure. There are some people that walk out the door and trip and bang themselves and their Kundalini goes off. There's some people that meditate for their entire lives as monks and they don't get the result that they're wanting. So it doesn't really make sense to me that I precipitated it with this practice. But what I did learn in the process is one thing that can be avoided is the dark night of the soul. That comes from an acceleration of your energy centers when they're containing a lot of trauma and emotion, when you've not done the work on yourself, when you've not really understood what it is that you've held within you, that when you're very disconnected or depressed or even sick sometimes. Those are the type of things that if the Kundalini energy is kicked off through your intention, through your focus, it doesn't really care about you as a human. And I know that doesn't sound very nice, but it has its own agenda, let's say that. And so you have your own agenda in your life, the way that you want to live it. This energy has its own agenda. It wants to get in there and remove everything that's preventative of it having influence on your life because it is the soul aspect of you. It wants to combine with you. So what's it going to do? It's going to accelerate your energy centers. It's going to start magnifying everything that you don't like about yourself, all of your experiences that aren't working for you, everything in negativity is going to be upticked because it wants it out of there. So what I learned and what I have developed with clients is I systematically help them prior to that opening to remove a lot of those layers of emotion. And there can be a lot of them. If someone has lived in an abusive home their entire life, there's just not one incident of anger. There's hundreds. There's just a pile of them. We're talking blocks. And those emotions take up space. They actually occupy the center and leave no space for the divine flow of energy to come in. If a human's energy centers were all open, they would have steady flow coming in from the divine, and experiences that they love would just be coming one right after the other. Manifestation would be almost instant. They wouldn't have any wait time. They wouldn't be longing for anything. It's actually what Jesus did. He actually opened his 7 energy centers, and those go on to operate independently. Within the body, there's 122 centers in the nadis and all of the other energetic parts of the field. And so once those 7 energy centers that everyone kind of knows about get opened, they go on to do the work. And so that's when the kriyas are developed, the body shaking, different types of sounds, motions, all kinds of urges of positions that you should get into. You're led by that energy. Once those are ignited, it takes over and it does all the work for you. And so that's primarily the work that I do, is helping remove those entrapments, and therefore setting the environment for that energy to move up the spine, and for them not to encounter too much difficulty or problematic type events that they might otherwise encounter if they hadn't done that prior.
What? So I'm so fascinated, right? Like, what's your definition of enlightenment, and are you enlightened?
You're never really enlightened. You're going to learn and grow and expand here and everywhere. And I don't know if I really like the word enlightened, because that would delineate that maybe I've done something or am something that someone else isn't, and that just isn't the case. So everyone has the ability. Why is it called enlightened? It's called enlightened because it's light energy. It's coming from a power of light source. That's what it is. And so I am enlightened to the degree that I have allowed energy into my energy centers that have caused them to bring, once the energy centers are empty of emotion, let's use that, then there's more space, more room. And so then the more energy that starts pumping into those energy centers, the more of the negativity that will start to rise for your observation. You're not to judge it, but you're going to see things and feel things that maybe you experienced throughout your life, or saw in your parents, or anything that you can remember. Things will start coming up. And so as that energy starts to seep in, the energy center will start to spin again. And that spinning actually creates a drawing effect, like a suction. And so it starts pulling more and more energy into the system, and then it conducts that energy into the other energy centers. So it's really vitally important to get them all open and working together, because that is how you're going to get the most out of your experience, or the most light energy coming into you. Eventually, as the energy centers are filled with light, the body becomes very vibrant. It becomes very masterful, very quick to manifest. Like I was telling you, I can have a thought about something and instantly it's modified or corrected. Those kind of things start to really be accelerated, and they're exciting. They make you feel really good in your experience. And so this is the potential really that everybody has. And enlightenment is nothing more than drawing light in.
Give me an example of when you've had a thought or a desire and it manifested instantly.
I sometimes get up in the morning and I'm a little tired, and I might have an early session, and I might think, oh, I'm tired. I don't know if I want to have an early session. And then immediately something happens. I don't have the session. So I have to be careful. So it accelerates everything. It accelerates not only the good stuff, but it accelerates something in negativity very quickly. And sometimes you just have to laugh. I mean, it's ridiculous. It can be something as simple as that I didn't think I was going to create, to something bigger, depending on how emotional you are about it. But there's a lot of responsibility with a Kundalini awakening, because the manifestation speed is so fast. And if you're not right on track, you're going to get something very quickly that sometimes you don't really like.
Sure. Like a lot of money, right? Like,
Yeah,
who doesn't
well,
like a whole lot of money?
that's possible.
So what that's so fascinating to me too, right? Like I can manifest number sequences in my reality. Like I can, like 7799, all of that, right? Like instantly.
Mhm,
However, $100,000 is totally different, right? Why
mhm.
is that? Why is it that we have such a problem manifesting money?
Should we check into you and ask why?
Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
Sure, let's do it.
Let's dip down into the root center, yeah, at the base of the spine. This is the center that would be related to money. I'm not worried about money. I can create money easily. I know that by the way that I focus and the way that I feel. I can bring to myself exactly what I want. I understand that money is never spent, that it's exchanged, and that when I give money for something, that I can expect that I will receive more money back. This is the way that I think when I am fully balanced in the root center. I'm not afraid to buy a meal. I'm not afraid when my bills come. I know that I don't need to hoard money because money will come to me when I am needing it. How do you find yourself in the center?
In the root chakra.
Yeah. How do you find yourself as we gave to you what balance was? Do any of those things that we mentioned spontaneously cause your human? Because your human's working with us. We have a portal open, whether you know it or not, to the divine part of you that's operating through us, through the portal we have. And then we have you as the human sitting there. And so what's going to happen in our exchange as we ask you, what is it that you hold inside of you in regard to money, in the way that you feel about it? What does your human have to say?
Scarcity.
Yeah. And so when you feel scarce, we think you're scarce. What do you think of that? How does that feel to be scarce? How does it feel to be lackey?
Hmm. Feels like crap. I could tell you
Yeah.
that.
Put an emotion to it.
An emotion. Fear.
Fear. We think you're fearful. You're afraid. You're worried. Something's going to go wrong. You're not going to have enough. What are you going to do? How does that feel to be fearful?
Feels small.
Small. You're small. There's nothing to you. You mean nothing. How does that feel?
Degrading.
Degrading. You should be degraded. You should be ashamed, really. How do you feel when we tell you that?
Again, really small.
Really small. Let's go back into the childhood for a moment and just slide you aside. Yeah. Do you ever remember feeling any of those things as you were growing up? Small, degraded, not enoughness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so you would have this stuck in your energy center. And so the universe would be then signaling you, yes, through the business or through things that you are doing. This is how you are received. So how do we remove it? Anyone that would have lived in the life that you lived in under the parenting that you had, wouldn't they have chosen that emotion as well? Wouldn't that be a normal response for someone that was experiencing your experience? This is how I feel. This feels lackey to me, feels degrading, humiliating a little. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so as you feel that, then what happens with a human as they go on in their experience, they start to deny that. They try to swallow a pill they're not ready to swallow. They try to tell themselves, I can have money, I can have money, I can have money. And the energy center says, no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't. And so you're kind of stuck, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And so the way you get unstuck is you love yourself for that experience. I love myself in all that I felt. I understand myself. I know myself. I know what I was in. I picked the right feeling. I sent it to the universe. I believe that something great was made for me when I did that. And we're loving the human right now. And then the human starts to feel relief. It starts to feel accepted. It starts to feel valued even for what it has contributed to the divinity that it is. And this is how the entrapment gets released. It gets let go by lighting it, by sending light to it, by showing you that you did not live wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. Anyone would have felt that way. And once you get that concept, you can't live your life wrong. You can't do it wrong. And you can't condemn yourself in lack for sending lack when there was lack. You have to love yourself. Once you release the entrapment, you'll feel ease around these situations start to creep in. You'll start to feel a transformation. Energy is coming into that center. You're starting to spin that wheel, watch the dirt fly off of it. Yeah. Everything in your life is being created by you, for you. Everyone is on a journey of healing, of wanting to learn to master their experience. Once you understand you can't do it wrong, you don't have to change. There's no need to condemn or judge. None of that. Allow, surrender. That's what you felt. Love yourself for it. It's energy committed to the divine. It's been received. You sent the right thing. And so as you do this, you'll become the feeler and releaser that you were meant to be. The tool was never made to change. Quit trying to change yourself. Quit trying to tell yourself, I need to think in prosperity terms. I need to feel different than what it is I feel. That's not what a human does. And a human will become very frustrated and aggravated as you try to conduct yourself this way, because it's not intended to work like that. It's intended to feel emotion, pick from a stream of consciousness the appropriate motion that it is feeling, send it to the universe, and guess what? The universe is the transformer of that energy. Let me make something of you. Let me make something for you from what you have sent. I got your mail. I received that from you. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we get caught up. I do, and I have to hold a certain thought, like I have to say certain things, or else it sends the wrong message to the universe.
Do you think the universe cannot feel you in all that you feel? Do you think words are the only way that you are felt? You are felt emotionally. You're connected and tied right to this conduit. It's part of you. What's in your head? When you are with other people, do you think that by not letting them know what you think, that the universe doesn't receive what you think? You're an open book, you see. Everything that you are thinking and feeling is being received in the divine. All of it. None of it is covered up. None of it is hidden, you see. So you might as well just admit it and let it out. There's nothing to hide. The universe knows you. It has you. It's not judging. It's not condemning. There's nobody standing there saying, oh, you are not doing it right. That would be you as the human. Judging and condemning is a human trait. It's not a spiritual trait. And it is not coming from the divine at all. This concept that people have been taught that somehow you're condemnable, judgeable, wrong, is dead wrong, you see. You are creating in every moment. The minute you enter in the body, as you come in as a child and you are put into your mother's arms and she doesn't do the right thing, you're desiring the right thing and you are changing in that moment. You are growing and you're growing the universe at the same time. And so it's never going to stop. It's never going to be perfect. You were never expected to be perfect. You are to experience, choose emotions you are feeling in your experience and let them go to the universe and then move on from it in the love of self. Stop the judging, stop the condemning, stop the sucking up of the thoughts. Live your life in freedom. Do you think you would come here with free will and someone would take it from you? Someone would tell you that you have to watch yourself, that you have to be careful? Do you think this is what the divine would do?
Well, that's what we've been told, right?
How does it feel to be told that? What feels more truthful to you? What we are conveying to you or what you have been told?
What feels more truthful
Yes,
is what feels better, is what you're saying.
absolutely. This is your guidance system. Your divine aspect is sitting in the same room, in this portal with us right now. If something was said that was an untruth, you're connected to the divine, to the universe. It would respond like that. You would feel negativity. You'd think, shut this lady down. I don't want to listen to her. I don't believe her. That's what would happen because you have an intricate guidance system. Don't you know when someone's trying to swindle you? When someone is trying to do something that they are not being straight with you or honest? You have this guidance, this perception meter in you. That's the divine aspect of you, you see.
What about the false teachers, right? Like you're talking about the divine guidance system. There are some people that get swindled by those folks, and they get hurt. They receive false teachings, and they're led down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with their divine guidance system? Are they just not listening to that? Like, what's going on there?
Well, they've given up their power. They have believed that one of the biggest things that we teach is empowerment. We never tell a human what to think or not think. We certainly want to hear if there's something that they don't agree with. And we are forever, when we are doing courses or in sessions with people, letting them know that the good interaction that they're having is coming through them, from them. We are transporting or bringing the information through, but the value of it, or the depth of it, or the topic of it is coming from them to them. We don't take credit for what it is. If you sat there right now and decided, I'm closing my field, I've decided I don't believe in this, I don't want to participate in this, I would have nothing to communicate to you with. I would have no access to anything about you. But because you are here and you are open, and you are on a spiritual path and your consciousness is remaining open, I am able to join with you and I am able to do the exchange that we are having. But you could make a decision right now to stop that simply by closing your field. Your energy center is shut on your command the minute you decide. And so some people, maybe they get hoodwinked by somebody and they are very disconnected and they believe that this person has power over them. Some of your churches have actually adopted that type of monarchy or way of being. Not all, but some. And so some people become indebted or surrendered to, let's use that term, to whatever it is that they are worshiping that they feel is higher than or better than themselves. But this would never be the position that we would take with a client or anyone that we were moving with. We are 100% committed to empowering humans and to having them know that they have availability to their divinity, that they can have all the knowledge and wisdom that they want coming in through their energy centers. That's how Robin is receiving it. That's how everyone receives it. And that's how you will receive it.
How can I be more open? Is there a process or a meditation that I could implement right now that will allow me to be more open to those energies?
We do have meditations on our website, but you can do it on your own too. You don't have to purchase a meditation. You can focus. The thing about the energy centers is they're very detectable once a human has awareness or understanding. Everything is about having awareness or understanding. You can't learn more if you don't understand that there is more. Once you start to focus on your energy centers and you draw the breath into them and you have an intention that you want to clear them or you want to bring in energy to move out emotion or deposits that are in them, the universe will work with you. But as we said, we would highly recommend that you remove as many entrapments before you start pushing too much energy in, because you can accelerate what's in there and it can be unpleasant for you. So it's just to recognize that that is a possibility that can happen in this process. But as you focus on each one of the energy centers, if you have a blockage, this is how it's going to feel and it'll make total sense to you. And again, your guidance system will alert you to facts, whether this is true or not. But when an energy center is laden or heavy with emotion, it's dense, there's no room in there. And now you intentionally start asking the divine to flow that conduit into that energy center. And what's going to happen? It's going to butt up against it and not be able to get in. And you're going to start to feel a pulsing, a buildup of energy, because that is going to be pushing against that center through your intention, through your asking. You're directing it. Didn't know you had that power, did you? But you do. And so as you're focusing on bringing that divine energy into the center and you hit a blockage, boom, boom. What happens with the finger when it's infected and you hang it upside down? It's full of the white blood cells. And when you hang it upside down and more fluids try to flow into it, boom, boom, no room. Yeah, it's infected. And so when you have an infected energy center or one that's full of emotion, there's no room for the divine to enter. If you keep internally focusing and driving that energy into it, it's going to eventually move, and all of those expressions, all of that negativity that you have been expressing to the universe is going to come flooding into your experience. There are other ways to do it. You can gently work upon your centers by observing yourself in your life. Where do I become activated? What is it that pissed me off today or got me upset, got me going? I notice myself, observe myself in it. I don't judge myself. I don't condemn myself. I don't try to make myself feel different than I do. I simply observe myself in the emotion that I'm having, and I match the emotion to the energy center. If it's in a relationship, it's in the heart. If I've had an argument and I feel brokenhearted about it and lost and sad, I know I have lost and sadness in my heart, don't I? And then I go to that energy center and then I ask myself, what is it that's in here? And then I try to remove it by loving it out of myself. The energy centers is representative of an area of your life. Each one is responsible for outcomes in your life. At the root, that's why we started you with there. Yeah, that is the money, the ability to feel safe, sound, protected, and provided for in the world comes from the base at the bottom in the root center.
What about self-worth?
Self-worth, oftentimes it can be a number of places actually. And when we're working with a client, we will ask them, and sometimes their human will give us the spot. We have detected self-worth problems. Oddly enough, you will find this kind of odd in the third eye. This is the trust center. People think that it's just for spirituality, but that's not true. When a human has been violated, their trust has been violated, or something has happened that has caused them a disconnection from their perception of being able to rely on their intuition, being able to trust themselves and others. This affects the third eye center and sometimes the confidence of a person. What is the entrapment you were asking about again?
Self-worth?
Self-worth, yeah. Primarily self-worth, we would say, if we were to say overall, where we find it, would be in the gut. Yeah, this would come in the energy center that is related to expression in your power. It means that I am creating in a way that I am passionate about. It's not about money. It's about doing what I love to do because I love to do it. And because of that, money comes. Yeah. It also means that I feel like I have full control over my experience. No one's trying to control me, and I'm not trying to control anyone else. Generally, when we're moving with a client, we'll ask them, do you have experiences where you feel, in fact, that you have to control things in order to feel safe? Or do you worry a lot? Do you feel as though you have to govern others or control what they are spending? Any of these types of things? Or do you feel as though others are trying to control you and tell you what to do and shut you down? So generally, these are the questions that we would ask during a session, and then that would then uncover the emotive value or what it is that the human feels when that question is asked. And then by revealing that feeling, the human will start to recall all of the incidences that it felt that feeling in, and now we're picking layers off. We're removing layers. Yeah.
I love that. So
Yeah.
I've heard you use spirituality and consciousness, right? Like what role does spirituality have in the evolution of human consciousness?
Spirituality is the understanding that I create. I am a focuser and a thinker and an innovator and an inventor, and I have the ability to create. This would be what we would call spirituality, and that has a great effect on consciousness because it expands consciousness. What brought us to Robin, and what brings any channeler to anyone? Oh, people are going to love this. Yeah, wanting to know what this is all about. Why am I here? What's happening? Am I going to know myself after I leave? Am I just done, or do I still exist? These are the questions that Robin posed in her head. And if you were to survey or to ask anyone else that became a channeler or had some type of a profound spiritual experience, they were askers of questions. They wanted answers. And what is the universe? It's an answerer of questions. It loves getting a question and it loves giving an answer. It loves getting a question and it loves giving an answer. And it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and more expanded in every bit of wisdom and knowledge that is accumulated by that process.
It's like an advanced Google website, right? Like you put
Absolutely.
in a
Yep.
question and you'll get a bunch of
We would
answers,
relate
right?
even the human to a computer to some degree. Have a situation occur that's upsetting to you, and then attract another one, file it there. Attract another one, file it there. All of the like circumstances or situations and the way that you feel are going to go into a particular energy center. So it is very much like a file.
Oh wow. So we come here to create and to
Yes.
manifest and to expand our consciousness. Why do
Yes.
we keep coming back? Is there an attachment to this reality?
Mm. Because you are learners, you're pioneers, you're experiencers. You will never be happy standing still. The universe is expanding. You ask any scientist constantly, it's always growing, always expanding. And all of those that are interacting with it are responsible for that and want to continue that. It's very satisfying.
Hmm. Has has Robin ever lived a life not on Earth?
We would tell you that all of you have lived lives in multiple planes of existence.
Wow. Can you name a system? Is there a specific system?
It is not our desire to work outside of the confine that we are in. Yeah.
Wow, that's so fascinating. What about AI? Do
Hmm.
you have any knowledge about that? Is
What
that just
about,
another form of consciousness?
uh, it is a man-made or man-fed consciousness, and you are all man-made or man-fed consciousness. And eventually, in that arena, you are able to formulate your own particular opinion, aren't you? Yeah. And so
Sure.
we would tell you that this is a possibility. It is something that could come to fruition. Yeah.
Hmm. Is as a society, are we going towards like a more uniform theory or version of consciousness, right?
What do you mean by uniform?
Like a one getting evolved to a point where we're all functioning from like one state of consciousness. Like everyone's basically, instead of having this duality, we
Mhm.
kind of we're more like telepathic with each other. We understand what other people are thinking or feeling. We can communicate more clearly because we're telepathic, and our communication, we're manifesting faster. We're just all on the same wavelength.
Yeah, we would agree with that statement. We would tell you that through the desire that humans have had in the way that they have lived, that there is a great desire for unity or the ability to have uh, uh, oneness. Or a feeling of oneness. And many will ask us, well, what about the ones that are in lower level consciousness or doing things that are maybe not in alignment with what you would call or deem a higher level of consciousness? And we said, no one's getting left behind. You're all coming from one thing. And when you ponder that concept and you realize that you are a piece of the whole, you as yourself are running this podcast, you have other work that you do. Maybe you are a husband, a father, we don't know. Yeah. But you have all of these roles or expressions that are you, that you're a little bit different in all of them. Yeah. And so the divine or the universe or what you would call God is no different. It has all of you, all of us that are aspects of it that are experiencing for it in its existence, that are all adding wisdom and knowledge and expanding its consciousness. And so we want to liken the universe a little bit to how we would liken you to yourself, if that makes any sense to you. And so when humans will say to us, we laugh sometimes, am I living in different places, or when I'm having a dream, am I in a different reality? If you would imagine that you are one thing that is experiencing all these things and that you are not separate, you think that there are separate, everything's separated or not connected. Let's use that. And we don't know how to convey it to you any better than what we just did in the explanation that you are part of this massive whole one thing that you call God, that is expressing itself in many different ways, in many different dimensions at the one time. And so right away you take that as, oh, I'm expressing myself in many different ways at one time. Well, the universe is, and you are the universe. Do you understand?
Nature of reality. Is there anything that we misunderstand or overlook?
Well, we would tell you that the biggest misunderstanding there is right and wrong and good and bad. The universe is a replicating machine. It doesn't give one hoot in hell about what's right and what's wrong. It is simply mirroring back to you your experience in the way that you perceive it. That's all it's doing. And so you can decide what your addition to the universe is, or to your source is that you are attached to, in the way that you think and feel. What do you want it to be? Do you want it to be one that others feel good when they join it? Or do you prefer not for that not to be the case? But that would be your choice in your sovereignty. You have the ability to choose. You have free will to pick and choose how it is you will feel as you experience yourself in your human form. And and the only way that you can change the world is not by changing other people and the way that they think and feel, because as you emanate your distaste of them or your dislike of the way that they are living, you're creating alone, you see, you're sovereign. And so the universe receives you in that icky feeling that you have towards someone else and simply expands your universe in ickiness. You don't get the good stuff then, you see. So you have to kind of isolate yourself in a bubble, you can make a universe, believe this, right around yourself that belongs only to you. Nothing can penetrate you. You add just exactly what you want to see, not by following others and using them as a justification for your crappy emanation. This is what a lot of you are doing. Someone's mean to you, someone's rude to you, and you're mean and rude right back because you feel they deserve it. It's justified. But if you really understood that you're creating individually and that they have their own system going, they'll answer for their own business and you have yours, you see.
Hmm. Does Robin still struggle with that at all? That she, when looking at reality and seeing that she still
Yes.
struggle with
But what's coming into fruition for Robin in this Kundalini rising and the unification of the soul aspect of herself is the observation is becoming so obvious or loud. Let's use that. Of course, she will have a feeling that wasn't very nice what that person did, but she will immediately look at herself and she won't attach to it. The emotive value that gets put into that thought is greatly decreased. There's more of an understanding, yeah, she likes people, to be nice to people. That's the way she is. Yeah. She knows herself. So she simply goes on to soothe her human. I know you don't like that. Yeah. I know that is not what you prefer to see in the world. What is it you would like to see? I would like people to live in harmony. I would like people to compliment other people and be nice to them. That's what I would like to see. And then she moves herself because she understands right away as she looks at herself that that random occurrence was not random at all, that there was something in her that brought that to her. And so she makes a modification in the distaste of what it is. And she starts to look at people with a little bit more compassion, a little bit more understanding, and in the realization that when people feel received that way, even when they're maybe not that way, it gives them an opportunity to view themselves through the way you view them in a better way, you see.
So when we leave this realm, when we leave this reality, do we fully remember who we are?
Absolutely. Oh, you pop right out of this body, right back. Yeah. And you have full awareness. You bring everything with you. You're not starting over. You're not having to raise your Kundalini again. You're not going backwards. You're going forward. Yeah.
Mhm. And we recognize everyone that we've lived with or had past lives with, or who we associate with?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
That's so fascinating. Athena, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time.
You're welcome. We'll let Robin pop back in. Good day. Time flies, doesn't it?
I know. I'm like, I can't believe what time it is. How do you feel?
Great. I feel great.
I can't thank you enough for taking the time to, one, make yourself vulnerable, two, to speak about your truth, and then to channel, right, and spread your message to my audience. That was just truly fascinating. And I feel so well connected every time we speak. I feel like Athena is reading my mind, like she's reading my energy. Maybe she is, maybe she, I mean, it's so intense.
Well, I thank you so much. I hope you give yourself as much credit as you just gave me. These platforms that are being offered to people by programs like yours are really one of the main things that are expanding the universe. Without outlets like you, I could not reach near the amount of people. The healing of one person is so huge because they're connected to all their lineage. When you remove an emotional trauma or heal yourself in the way that you're creating, you not only pull it out of yourself, you pull it out of all of your lineage. And so it just goes back. There's just thousands that are healed by one. So it's for you to really understand the magnitude of what it is you are creating by having this show.
So how can people reconnect with you?
Well, I have everything is under Athena and Truth. I have a website where I book sessions. I have courses on there, meditations. I have a live Q&A where people are sent a Zoom link and they can interact live with Athena. I do that monthly, and they are, with that, one of the real valuable things that they get. My group does a lot of writing, so I get transmissions that just come automatically. The members of the Q&A get those like 2 or 4 times a month. I'd have to check with Heidi, but they're always getting something to kind of keep them on track that's coming up, and there never seems to be a shortage of it. I just sit down and say, okay, let's give a transmission, and out it comes. And those get sent to the people that are members. Everything is on the website. I have a YouTube with lots of different guests that are on, and I do podcasts that I upload regularly, both to the YouTube and individually on Anchor website.
I can't wait to go back and check this out, because I'm hoping that you post this over there, because I think it's going to be beneficial for all, because she knows how to get me vulnerable. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, I'd like to go in and clean you out, do all of your energy centers, not just one. You know, it's really interesting. What you find in one, you find in a lot of other ones. It's something that when it's not picked up in your life, maybe in your relationships, it can't get your attention there. So it'll move down and hit you in the money belt, or personal power, or something else. It'll move around within the system. So it's really interesting to me how when you hit the right emotion, you'll start picking it up everywhere. It won't just be in one center. It'll be in multiple ones.
Sure. Robin, this has been amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.